Retail banks are necessary for economic growth, but recent experience shows that they can also bring economies to a grinding halt. Retail banks support economic growth by facilitating efficient consumption and production decisions, which leads to improved resource allocation and the potential for economic expansion. Retail banks act as intermediaries between savers and borrowers. Banks accept deposits from savers with excess capital and redistribute the finances to borrowers in need of capital in the form of loans and credit. Intermediation efficiently allocates financial resources between savers and borrowers, stimulating economic activity through capital provision for consumption and investments. For example, a retail bank providing mortgage loans allows individuals to buy homes, which not only fulfills their housing needs but also stimulates the construction industry and related sectors. Retail banks also provide capital for business expansion. Banks offer loans, lines of credit, and other financial services tailored for the needs of a small business. This allows small businesses to invest in new technologies, create employment opportunities, thus directly contributing to the economic growth. A financial crisis refers to a situation in which the functionality of the financial system is disrupted, leading to severe consequences in the allocation of credit and capital. This disruption can have significant negative consequences for the overall economy. One of the key characteristics of a crisis is the inability of financial markets to effectively allocate credit and capital to the most productive investment opportunities. This means that funds may not flow efficiently from savers and investors to borrowers and businesses that have the highest potential for growth and returns. Excessive risk taking and high leverage by retail banks can lead to financial crises. This includes providing high risk loans and investing in high risk assets. When banks take on excessive risks without adequate risk management and oversight, it can result in financial and economic crisis. The interconnectedness of retail banks through interbank lending makes their contribution to a financial collapse highly significant. When banks borrow from each other, the financial distress of one bank can rapidly affect other banks, leading to the disruption of credit markets and potentially causing a widespread financial collapse. During the 2008 financial crisis, retail banks faced substantial financial loss due to their high exposure to risky subprime mortgage loans. The resulting losses and interconnectedness of banks triggered an economic downturn and a global financial crisis. This example demonstrates how retail banks' high risk exposure can have widespread and detrimental effects on the financial system and the economy due to the interconnectedness of banks.
Ways through which commercial banks' possible contribution to economic and financial crisis could be mitigated. And firstly, we say there's need for strong bank supervision and prudential regulation to help banks maintain enough capital buffers. This in turn will help prevent excess credit expansion as well as the expansion of credit to risk borrowers. There's also heightened need for risk assessment and management best practices such as credit reviews, rigorous loan underwriting principles, enhanced stress testing to make sure that banks hold beneficial loan portfolios. There's also need to strengthen and improve the management of liquidity risk through diversification of funding of sources, holding and maintaining adequate liquid assets, as well as employing cautious maturity and matching techniques to avoid maturity mismatches. There is also need to build an effective and efficient early warning and monitoring system to enhance regulatory and supervision, as well as to create a robust decision-making system that can mitigate systematic risk and bank failures. Also, central banks, as they do their regulation, they need to set up higher capital requirements, imposing strict capital adequacy ratios to make sure that commercial banks hold adequate capital levels that can help them absorb losses in the time of crisis. There's also a need to promote transparency and heighten disclosure requirements. This will enable retail banks to provide accurate information and financial information that will encourage economic agents to make informed choices before they access the financial product being processed. Here we show some of the work that we referenced. Thank you so much.